Hey everybody, my name is Chris Green, and today we're going to talk about my fictional character case study. And I'm going to follow Paula Agard. She's a therapist in the TV show Suits that was on USA. Now you can find the whole series on Amazon Prime. I highly suggest you guys watch it. It's a phenomenal series. Suits is a legal drama. It's about this law firm in New York City. It's a corporate law firm, and all the lawsuits and the drama within, between the characters and stuff like that. But the main character, Harvey Specter, he is this very charismatic and very well put together attorney. Everything kind of goes his way all the time. And he rides the line of ethics and he tiptoes on both sides of it very well. And, in that, throughout the first 4 seasons, everything's going fine. But then in the 5th season, everything kind of starts to fall apart for him a little bit. Meaning, things from his past start to bubble up. And he starts to have panic attacks. And these panic attacks are like the people around him are kind of leaving him and doing their own thing. And like I said, his past is starting to bubble up. And so he sees Paula as his therapist. Now, at first, he goes to her and just says, "Hey, look, I'm having problems sleeping. Please give me some sleeping pills." And she does it. But it's really to mask the panic attacks. Now, he ultimately has more panic attacks and goes back, and he finally has that first disclosure. Now, this first clip I'm going to show you is actually some pretty good therapy. She is letting him be autonomous, as our textbook says, and she's just kind of pulling at the strings to try to get him to make those disclosures on his own. And she's not imposing her views or her beliefs. She's not leading. She's not directing that therapy. She's not kind of imposing anything on him. She's just letting him relive it, and you can see him reliving this panic attack and this horrible feeling, and she's just pulling at the strings to getting everything to come out. Check it out.
Oh, please.
I'm sorry, Harvey, you're on your own. And that's when it happened, isn't it? You had another one.
I don't want to talk about it.
Step 1 to making them stop is talking about it.
I couldn't think. I couldn't see. I couldn't breathe.
What did you do?
You know what I did.
Yeah, I know. I need you to say it.
Why?
Because the more you say it, the less power it has over you.
I made my way into the bathroom. My heart was pounding, and my chest cracked open. It was like I was underwater. I looked at the stall, and there was 2 shoes there, a piece of shit brown shoe untied, 2 guys laughing.
Yeah, and then?
I ran to the stall, I threw up, and I just waited until it was over.
And that's the night you came to see me.
Yeah.
And you made up a story about having trouble sleeping to get anti-anxiety medication. And you've been taking a pill a day since.
In the spirit of trying to get Harvey to open up, Paula makes a disclosure to him to try to build trust. And she tells him about this time when she falsely testified for a client to get him out of rehab because somebody else was paying for the therapy. Ultimately, he gets out, the client gets out and overdoses, and he dies. And this is a tremendous weight that Paula's been carrying, and it's guilt and shame around the whole incident. But she tells Harvey this to try to build trust, in the spirit of doing the right thing, right? To be, beneficent, to show him that it's for the better of him, to make this disclosure, to be vulnerable and to be open and display veracity. So later, Harvey is representing someone, and Paula's name comes up. Check it out.
And ultimately, who would be responsible for stopping a trade that violated regulations?
Paul Gilroy.
So it couldn't possibly be that you knew what you were doing, you kept it secret, and that all of this is your fault.
It could be, but it isn't.
Well, that's interesting, because we have somebody who says it is.
And who the hell is that?
Mr. Tull's therapist.
What?
A therapist can't testify against their own patient.
She can if we paid for it and he signed a waiver, which he did.
Mr. Tull, your therapist's testimony is coming, and when it does, your ability to cut a deal goes away. Drop this matter, and no one ever knows you saw a therapist at all.
Look at the fear in that man's eyes. He is freaking terrified. He knows what's about to happen. The thing is, now he's thinking, oh my God, if these attorneys can get Paula to testify against my client, when is she going to testify against me? When is she going to spill all of my secrets? And again, status is everything to Harvey. His image is everything. And so he's terrified. So what does he do? He goes to Paula and he tries to get her to do something unethical. Check it out.
What are you doing here?
You're coming to my offices tomorrow to testify against my client and you didn't tell me?
I didn't tell you because this is the first I'm hearing about it.
Bullshit. I saw it. You got subpoenaed to testify against Sam Tull.
And until you just burst in here, I had no idea he was your client.
Well, it doesn't matter because you're not showing up.
And you're going to stop them from arresting me, are you? Because that's what will happen if I don't.
Then get yourself someone like me and get out of it.
For your information, I have been to 3 different men like you because I care about Sam. And you know better than I do that once he signed that release, I have no choice.
Well, I have a way to get you out of it, and you're gonna do it. They ask you something that's gonna send him to jail, you lie.
I can't do that.
You can, and you will, and they'll never know.
I'll know. And even if I didn't, I have notes. And if they found those, I'd be going to jail.
Then destroy them, because he's innocent, and he trusted you with everything. And if that doesn't mean something to you, then why the hell should anyone ever trust you with anything?
Harvey, this isn't about us. No one can ever make me do that to you.
I'm sure Sam Tull thought the same thing.
Now in this scene, Paula does a phenomenal job of shutting it down. She goes, nope, we're not doing this. Like, I am not violating my ethics for you. She says, you know, I got notes. They can subpoena those. He signed an informed consent form. You know, everything was made very clear to it. So, and it even says that there's the informed consent form, right? That you saw in the one scene. She talks about that. She talks about, you know, yeah, this is the cost of it, and this is what's going to happen. So she's doing everything ethically, morally, you know, according to the guidelines and according to her legal contracts. And obviously it's a drama, so I don't know all the legal side of things, especially in New York. But even then, it's a drama series, so it's fake in a lot of ways. But we'll just, for the sake of this argument, we'll just say it's real. But she does a good job of shutting it down. But then she realizes, oh, this really isn't about me and your client. This is about me and you. And you're terrified that I'm going to tell all of your secrets. So she does a very good job of again, displaying veracity and fidelity and saying, look, I'm faithful to you. It's okay. I'm going to protect your secrets because that is what confidentiality is. And she's adhering to the same confidentiality standards that Corey, and Corey speak about extensively in our textbook. So then she ends up in a deposition. First, she gets questioned by the side filing the lawsuit. And then she gets questioned by Harvey. And it doesn't go so well for her. Check it out.
Dr. Agar, did you want to give the testimony you just gave?
Of course not.
And why is that?
Because I care about my clients.
Is it possible that you didn't want to give it because it's not true?
No, it's not possible.
You couldn't possibly have been pressured to give false testimony against your wishes.
No, I couldn't have.
Have you ever been pressured to do something you didn't want to do by a client before? Let me rephrase. Isn't it true that you released a client that you cared about from rehab for no reason other than you felt pressure from a different client who was actually paying the bills? Dr. Agard, you are under oath, and if you will not answer, I will have a judge compel you to answer.
Yes.
And did this person die of an overdose less than 24 hours later?
Yes.
So, if you let yourself be pressured when someone's life is at risk, what's to make us think you're not doing the exact same thing right now?
That has got to be one of the biggest betrayals. I mean, I've been in that position where I have confided in someone with a very deep secret and something that I believe that I could trust them with, and then they burned me with it. And that is so painful. I know exactly what she's feeling there. So here you had a couple good therapy things, right? You have good ethics. She's maintaining good boundaries. She's saying, nope, I'm not going to violate your confidentiality, but this is what I have to do because this is my ethics and this is my legal obligation per our contracts. She was drawing out that information, not guiding the thing. So we have an example of good therapy. Now we're going to see an example of bad, right? So she does her testimony and see what happens when she goes into his office.
You arrogant piece of shit.
Watch yourself. This is my office.
I don't care what it is. How dare you betray me like that?
I tried to warn you.
You didn't warn me. You asked me to lie for you, and I told you I wouldn't.
I asked you to lie for Sam Tull.
This isn't about Sam Tull, and you know it.
What the hell are you talking about?
I opened up to you so that we could build trust, not so that you could humiliate me.
I humiliated you to help a man you say you care about.
And our fighting about your mother had nothing to do with that.
Excuse me?
You walked out of our session because you didn't want to talk about your mother. And the second you had the chance to permanently damage our relationship, you took it.
You're insane.
And you're a self-serving narcissist who will do or say anything to get what he wants.
I did what I did in there to protect my client.
Oh.
And I don't give a shit if it hurt your feelings or not, because you betrayed him just as much as I'm betraying you. And you may be the one who's crying about it, but he's the one who's been accused of committing a crime.
If you're lucky, someday you're going to realize what's really going on here. And when that day comes, I hope you find someone to help you, because it isn't going to be me.
Okay, let's not name call our clients. Now, I understand. We are supposed to be consummate professionals. In law enforcement, we are supposed to set our personal stuff aside and only deal with the situation at hand and be professional in our interactions with the public and even our custodies. Sometimes people are going to hit that button. And we're human. We're still going to screw up. We're still going to have moments of that aren't going to be the best of our character. And that's what happens in this office. She starts with name calling, and that's malfeasance, essentially. That's potentially causing harm. She goes off to call him narcissistic and self-serving, which also could essentially be malfeasance. It's very harsh language, and it's meant to hurt him. You know, she is saying these things, you know, calling him a self-centered prick and narcissistic and self-serving. She's doing it to try to hurt him because he just hurt her. It's kind of I'm going to get you back for this. And then at the very end, she goes, you know, when you finally figure this out, you're going to have to figure it out on your own because it's not going to be with me. So she basically terminated the relationship right there. Now, the authors of our textbook, they do a very good job of explaining, look, if we decide as therapists that we're going to cut terminate the relationship, we need to take some steps and maybe prolong this and make it a kind of an off-ramp. And then we try to guide them to someone else that will be able to continue further helping them. This would be ideal. In this particular case, it's a TV drama, okay. But in this particular case, she cut it off cold turkey, and that might not have been the best for Harvey, because at the end of the day, he is still her client, and she still needs to be looking out for his welfare, his mental welfare. So cutting it off cold turkey probably wasn't the greatest idea there. In this particular case study, I wanted to show you two good examples of her, and then obviously a bad one, and two bad examples where her disclosure came back to hurt her, and where she kind of blew up on Harvey. We're humans. We're going to screw up. We're going to lose our temper, but we have to try to maintain our professionalism, and we need to be very conscious about what we're willing to disclose to our clients so that it doesn't end up coming back around and hurting us. And it may not be in a legal setting like that, but because we have there are malevolent people out there who are going to play off of our emotions, and they may take those disclosures to try to play with our emotions back. So we want to make sure that we're very careful with our disclosures and stuff like that. So if there's anything to learn here, 1, maintain your professionalism. 2, watch out with your disclosures. And 3, she did a really good job of maintaining her ethics. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. Take care of yourself.